I can't go to population. I'm in really bad standing with my ex gang.
So I obviously was going to ask,
Yeah.
You're in orange.
Yes.
Is that because of disciplinaries, safety issues, or both?
Safety. Yeah.
And so it sounds like you, I'm guessing, dropped out of your gang.
Well, yeah. I have really a bad name with like the Polynesians, and it's just a really bad situation for me. I'm really not safe in Utah anymore. So that's another reason why I want to leave. I mean, I had my jaw broken April 10th of last year, 2 days after when I went to jail. So I had my jaw wired shut. I was in the infirmary for like 3 months. So if I go back to population, I'm sure the same thing will happen again. So I'm not trying to, be in that situation.
So do you feel prepared to go forward to today's hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any errors or corrections I should know about in that blue disclosure packet before we begin today?
No, everything's good.
Okay. So just to kind of tell you how today's going to go, sir. We're going to go over procedurally how we got to this hearing. We'll go over any background questions I have, institutional behavior and programming, if you were released, what that would look like. Then at the end of the hearing, if you have further questions or comments, let me know.
Okay.
So it looks like a show of parole violation hearing occurred in June of last year. The board accepted your admission to allegations 1 through 3. No contest plea to allegation number 4 and scheduled a rehearing for now, with the expectation that you complete residential substance use treatment. Does that sound procedurally correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll talk about some of that today.
Okay.
Regarding your last parole, I showed that you paroled on March 7th, 2023. The warrant was issued on April 7th of 2023. On April 6th, you checked out of Nuke. Your GPS was taken off. You were declared a walk away. On April 9th, officers were dispatched to a parking lot of a local business to address a domestic violence situation. Mr. Willis had been the aggressor in the incident, and he had a small amount of blood on his face. The other individual had likely fought back against Mr. Willis. He was a fugitive. He had a fugitive warrant. An officer located Suboxone on him at the jail. Is that an accurate description of your last parole?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything you want to say about your last parole?
Yes, ma'am. I had just made a stupid mistake.
What was when you say a mistake, what do you say is your mistake?
Just not thinking like an adult, thinking childish, really, I should say. Instead of going back to Nuke, I know I was like past the 15-hour mark at work, and I was already on thin ice. So instead of calling them and letting them know what's really going on at work, I decided to leave and just make a really bad decision. So.
Were you using?
Yes, I was.
What were you using?
I started smoking the fentanyl pills like a week before I took off. So
and then this domestic violence situation, tell me about this with who was the
It's really embarrassing. It's honestly an ex-girlfriend of mine. We were arguing, and I hurt myself. Like, I was hitting myself in the face, to be real. But never put hands on her, and she never put hands on me. That's the reason I had blood on my face, is because I was hitting myself. I was losing my mind. Just kind of.
Why, when you say you were losing your mind, why were you losing?
Well, because I just took off and I had forgot. Like, I made a promise to my son. I wanted to see my son, and I was just really upset. And I was high and just not thinking correctly in the moment. And we got into an argument, and it just got really loud verbally, and the police were called. So they pulled up.
So obviously that's a really short parole, right? I mean,
yes.
Month, right? So
yes.
Kind of tell me how things would be the same or different now, because that this is your third parole, right? So you've had some prior paroles. So
yes, ma'am.
I guess I'm guessing you want things differently now, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
And why is that, and how would that be?
Well, I finally got back in contact with my mother, and built a really good relationship with her. And so we've kind of come up with a plan. She lives in Spokane, Washington, and I believe if I interstate compact out there, I believe it would be really good for me. I have a baby here. He's 3 years old. I don't want to leave him behind, but before I can help him, I have to help myself, right? So I think it'd be best if I go to Spokane, Washington, and get myself right, and then I can get visitation with him later on down the road. My mother wants me to complete a rehab out here before I go out there, and so I got a letter of acceptance to Valley Mental Health Epic Residential Abuse 4 to 6 month program. Here's the letter right here.
And I'll have the sergeant make a copy of that.
Okay, thank you. And so I got in touch with them, and they said as soon as I get a date or anything like that, then they'll have a bed ready for me. So.
And I think that's very good. That it sounds like you've looked into treatment, that you're already taking proactive steps. That's good.
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry. The reason I wasn't able to do any substance abuse program at the prison is because I can't go to population. I'm in really bad standing with my ex-gang.
So I obviously was going to ask,
Yeah.
if you're in Orange,
Yes.
is that because of disciplinaries, safety issues, or both?
Safety. Yeah.
And so it sounds like you, I'm guessing, dropped out of your gang.
Well, yeah, I have really a bad name with like the Polynesians, and it's just a really bad situation for me. I'm really not safe in Utah anymore, so that's another reason why I want to leave. I mean, I had my jaw broken April 10th of last year, 2 days after when I went to jail. So I had my jaw wired shut. I was in the infirmary for like 3 months. So if I go back to population, I'm sure the same thing will happen again. So I'm not trying to, be in that situation.
When did you drop out of your gang, sir?
2021.
And you said you had your jaw broken in last year.
Yes, yeah, I got my tooth knocked out. And,
Do you still have issues because of that, or?
A little bit. I have metal plates in my chin and right here, and sometimes when I eat, it kind of grinds a little bit. But other than that, it healed pretty well. So.
So you talked about substance use being something that was a contributing factor to maybe having issues on your last parole. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
So how would you describe your current attitude towards substances?
I'm just honestly, I'm fed up. I've been doing this for too long. I'm 27 years old now. I'm grown. I'm a man now, so it's just time to put away childish things. And I think, I understand why people get high if they have like mental trouble, but that's just not the correct route to go. There's better things. Seek out therapy, or seek out like a mental health program like I seeked out. I don't see eye to eye with it anymore. There's, my teeth are starting to pull out my teeth. I'm done living reckless and childish. It's just time to grow up. Like I said, I have a 3-year-old boy that absolutely needs me. And, my father, I never met him. He's been in prison, and I used to tell myself I'd never be like him. And I'm the spitting image of him. And I'm not trying to be like that anymore. So I definitely have goals and ambitions. And honestly, physically and mentally, I'm the best I've ever been right now. So I'm really happy about that.
So I would note that the board ordered substance use treatment.
Yes.
If you're in max, I understand that could be a difficulty.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you tried to do substance use treatment within maximum security setting?
Yeah. Yes, I talked to a couple of the COs over there. We talked about. I know there was a substance abuse treatment in Cache County, but there was also a safety situation with going out there too, with a certain Polynesian out there. So it's been really rough trying to get into something. I looked on my tablet. I've done a couple things on the tablet.
What have you done on the tablet?
Just a couple things like with like schooling. Nothing with any substance abuse. I wrote and contacted Valerie Warhol about a couple things. They have me enrolled in anger management just recently. I guess it was like 6 months ago, but they just recently gave me the booklet for it. I don't have a tablet for my cell though. There hasn't been one for like 3 months, so I had just barely moved. But like a couple months ago, that's when I hit Valerie on the tablet. But I don't have one anymore. There's not one for the house that I'm in.
So do you not have a tablet because of issues because of you, or because of the unit doesn't have tablet?
I guess who was ever in that cell a couple months ago did something with the tablet, took off with it, or destroyed it. So the cell that I just recently moved into doesn't have one assigned to that cell at all. So I've been, I filled out a grievance. I've took every step I can to try to get one, but I still haven't received one.
So it sounds like it would be a difficulty to complete substance use treatment within the prison, but that you want to do treatment in the community.
Absolutely.
You mentioned a residential facility. It sounds like your mother very much is encouraging of that. So
yes.
And you've looked into that. So that's
yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So in regard to disciplinary violations, I do show some disciplinary violations, including substance use and assault from October of last year. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. The substance abuse. I had someone's pill, a sleeper pill. That I had
for you to use?
Yeah, for me to use, to help me sleep. It wasn't my medication though, so I am guilty of that. Also, the horseplay fighting right up, I had just kind of wrestling around with someone, I knew better. just wasn't really thinking, and kind of wrestled with him and got the write up for it.
Do you know any criminal charges for any of those incidents? Are they?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't. No.
All right, sir. Just so I'm not going to go over your current offenses for which you're incarcerated, but just going over your criminal history in general. I show an assault case from Texas of a family member. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Back in 2017, me and an ex-girlfriend had decided to go to Texas to live with a friend, to try to get away from everything in Utah, and we just got into like a domestic violence dispute. And she said that I hit her over the head, which I'm not a violent person. I have no violent history, anything like that. And I didn't touch her. But she wanted to put me in jail so that she could come back to Utah, and leave me out there. So that was the case. And I just left Texas and came back here, like a month later.
Do you have any contact with this individual?
No, absolutely not at all. Yeah, I haven't talked to her since 2017.
Okay.
So,
in regards to your board packet, you kind of already talked about it. You would like to go to the EPIC program.
Yes, ma'am.
And work as a waiter. It sounds like initially EPIC program, then move to Washington.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
In regards to an interstate compact, there's a fee. From my understanding, I think it's $50.
Okay.
There's a process. So if you are given a parole, it sounds like initially you want to go to the EPIC program, but I would start, getting that ball rolling.
Okay.
Just because there is a certain things you have to do, right?
Yes.
But I'm not saying you're going to be granted parole, but I would just note if you are granted parole,
okay.
look into that process.
Okay. Thank you.
I also received a letter of acceptance to First Step. I guess, is that something else you were looking into, or
When was this?
I have to admit I don't have the date in front of me, so maybe it's from a prior.
Okay. It's probably for my first parole. I paroled over there in 2022 January.
So have you done EPIC before?
I've been EPIC one time in 2020.
And did you like it?
It's great. It's a really good program. It's a good environment. Out of all the programs I've been to, I like it the most. So.
All right, so those are all of my questions. From here, I'm a hearing officer. The board ultimately decides. They're made up of 5 members. 3 of them have to come to one decision. That's the decision of the board. Should get that in writing within 2 to 4 weeks.